Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of, you guessed it, we explore the concepts of written composition together in an 8-minute format in the morning. I know that's a long title, so we'll probably have to cut that short at some point, right? All right, let's get moving. So, this week is an important week. Why, you ask? Because you're really going to buckle down on your compare and contrast essay rough drafts. Okay? I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, well, wait a minute. Uh, it's about what I thought before doing any research. And that is true, and at the same time, it's not. Okay? It's true, and at the same time, it's like, not really true. Okay? The reason is because you want your readers to take a lot away from the experience. So, how can they take a lot away from the experience? Well, you need to give them something they can't just say, oh, I kind of figured that. You don't want them to say things like that. You want them to be like, I never thought about it from that angle. Because if you give someone something they already knew, ultimately it can feel like a waste of time. Now, don't get me wrong, there are examples of refreshers which are not bad. Refreshers are great, but in this case, you're trying to make something new, okay? And one of the good things about this particular essay is it gives you a chance to see how you can synthesize new information with something that's already established. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. Now, when you are working on this week's assignments, I want you to keep in mind that yes, you're going to post a draft of your compare and contrast essay, but I want you to also look back into what you did for the persuasive paragraph. I want you to look at it carefully, okay? Because that persuasive paragraph is going to help you with creating a strong final draft. And ultimately, you're trying to show why your ideas are valid. All right, you're trying to persuade folks with the compare and contrast essay. So keep this thought in mind as we move forward. You will come across a beautiful assignment. It's called the Credible Resources Assignment. I say it is beautiful for one reason. It's going to break down everything you thought you knew about your previous topic or your topic currently. The reason I say that is because you're going to start looking at what other writers have found, and it's going to shift your thought. It's not going to be about, oh, well, parenthood is different from childhood because you have more responsibilities. No, you're going to see things in a very specific light. All right, things that are going to make you question how you go about creating your essay. And that's a good thing, okay? It's a very good thing. You want your thoughts to be challenged, okay? Because if you don't have a challenge, you're not going to really expand your critical thinking ability. And I promise you, critical thinking is one of the most invaluable, priceless skills you're going to come across in academia. So, to recap, you're going to have a discussion. That discussion is going to examine the compare and contrast essay. Actually, no. It's going to be a persuasive paragraph rewrite. My apologies. You're going to rewrite the paragraph you did last week, but you also want to start making changes to your compare and contrast essay as well. And then you'll have the credible resources assignment. I assure you, it's going to be amazing once you start looking at the sources and really deconstructing the findings. All right, let us continue forward with our previous lecture. So, here's a question to consider. What is your experience with thesis statements in other classes and outside of school? Most likely will say, hey, I don't have that much thesis writing experience, and that's okay. The reason is simple. A thesis is not required, okay? Why? Because the writing is short, simple, sweet. It doesn't really require a big push for research and other things. So, you're not going to come across it like that. That being said, it does not hurt to know how to make one because it can teach you how to organize your thoughts in an effective way. So please keep that in mind. Keep it in mind. The thesis can be your friend if you let it. All right? So, when you create your compare and contrast essay, you're going to be pitted against yourself, essentially. And I know it sounds crazy, but that is the truth. You're going to have to face yourself because you're going to come across new information and comments, and I assure you, your mind will be like, wait a minute, no, what I have written before is just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And you're going to have an internal struggle with the old versus the new. And I know it's going to be hard, but the advice I can give you is this. Please be open to changing your thought. Be open to it. It's okay. I had to go through it. I go through it now, and I still go through it. Okay? What you're comfortable with is not always what is best. So, I bring this up because you're going to come across several thesis statements. Okay? And they are all weak, and I assure you, many of you have already created these. And it's not a bad thing. Okay? You're at your starting point. All right? For example, incomplete thesis statements. My son Massimo is. Well, my son Massimo is what? It's a weak thesis. It doesn't give readers a whole idea. Up next, stating a fact. And you already know, with this thesis, the idea is to give readers something they did not already know. So if I say the sky is above my house, readers most likely will roll their eyes. Can you blame them? They know that already. Up next, a thesis statement that's vague. Woo! There's a solution to homelessness. Well, what's the solution, sir? Or ma'am? What is the solution? If you can't give it, then we have a problem. Up next, not based on logic. Average men over the age of 40 have 12 fingers. It doesn't make sense at all. If it doesn't make sense, you're not just wasting time, you can actually set yourself up to be made fun of. I don't want that, so we got to be fair. Lastly, fail to show the direction of your paper. Everyone in the world is going to understand my paper. If readers don't know where the paper is going via the thesis, that's a problem. So, remember, the thesis is all about you creating a focused idea as far as what the paper is about. Keep this in mind. Now, I'm going to let you go for right now. We will meet back up next week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. Take care, and I'll see you in the chat.